Thank you, Senator Hall. I think a lot of this has been said, but I just was writing a few notes down. You said that it would be a misappropriation of money, correct?
Misuse of the money.
Misuse of the money. Whose money is it? State's money?
It's the taxpayers' money.
Whose money did it derive from? From the state of Texas or from, I'm sorry, you're not a citizen of the people of San Antonio, right? You're not from San Antonio, right?
No,
You're not
I
from
live in
Dallas.
Texas.
You're not from Dallas, right? You never lived in Dallas?
I live in Texas.
You don't live in El Paso? Because in order to be a state senator, you've got to be from the district that you represent. So I'll move on. You're not from Houston. We all know that. And you're not from the Valley of Texas. You're from East Texas somewhere. I get it. Did we waste $500 million on that whole Hollywood movie star thing? I'm just wondering, was that a waste of money? Because I thought it was.
That's not what this bill is about.
All right. Reasonable minds will differ. Some people say that's a waste of money. Some people don't. But again, you and I are stewards of what money? What money are you and I stewards of?
The taxpayers' money.
Derived from what entity?
The taxpayer.
That goes to what entity of government? State, local, state money, right? So you and I are stewards of state dollars, just as Senator West is, just as Senator Menendez and everybody else in this room on both sides of this building. But we're not stewards. We are not stewards of city monies, correct?
We are stewards of the money that's spent in the state of Texas, is taken from the taxpayer. And it's our responsibility where we see that entities are wasting money to protect the taxpayer.
I guess one could say that I'm a steward of Texas state tax dollars, but as a citizen of San Antonio, Texas, I'm probably a steward in some way of the money that I pay in my local property taxes that go to my local city, where I elect my local city councilman to make decisions. And it's probably the same for you in your hometown, correct?
Yes.
No disrespect, Senator Hall, but how dare you come to me and tell me what the city of San Antonio should do with their tax dollars, with my tax dollars that I put in to that city, to a program that I think is exceptional. And by the way, where would you rather have to go with those guns? Earlier you said something, that was your rather. They should be sold on the open market. That's what you want to do? Sell the guns on the open market?
A person is free to sell their guns legally any way they can.
Legally? Okay. At the gun show?
Legally.
At the gun show?
Legally.
At the gun show?
Legally.
Okay. Legally at the gun show. Fair enough. Do you know what happens at a gun show? Have you ever heard of the gun show loophole? It's a legal sale. You know what happens at the gun show loophole? If I am not a licensed dealer, I can trade my gun to Senator West, or I can sell my gun to Senator West. I'm not a licensed dealer. I'm what the law, not colloquially, it's a term of art, calls a hobbyist. And all I have to ask Senator West, all I have to ask Senator West is, Senator West, are you a citizen of the United States? And have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No. Yes.
And that's it. There's not a form. There's not a background check. There's nothing. And that was a legal transfer of that weapon. That's what you want, right?
No, this bill has absolutely nothing to do with that. It's not about gun shows.
Well, sure it does, because you just said earlier that you would rather someone go sell their gun out in the open market legally. And I'm trying to tell you that selling your gun on the open market legally requires no background check. You should go to a gun show, Senator Hall. Have you ever been to one?
Yes.
You ever go on the last day of the gun show? in the last hour, you should go see the characters going in to buy AR-15 from so-called hobbyists. So-called hobbyists. And all they get is 2 questions. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? And are you a U.S. citizen? That's what happens in your legal transaction, in your world. But let's move on. We've already discovered that you're not a member of the city of San Antonio, you're not a citizen of Houston or Dallas or anywhere else, and all my colleagues have asked you wonderful questions, and I don't want to repeat myself. But you did say something about the legitimate object of government. And that's a good statement. For my whole career in office, I read a book a long time ago about Abraham Lincoln, probably one of the best damn Republicans I've ever, in my whole life, in the history of the United States. And he said the legitimate object of government is to do for the people that for which they cannot do for themselves. I doubt that Abe Lincoln would have thought that book banning was a legitimate object of government. I doubt that he would have thought that banning social media was a legitimate object of government. Taking phones away is probably the role of parents and not the government. The Gulf of America, probably not the legitimate object of government. Outlawing furries, people from doing furries, I don't really know what that is, but I'm sure it's not really the legitimate object of government. Things are done in this day, every day in this building by folks on the other side of the aisle where I sit that I would consider so far gone and so far to the, I think y'all have gone so far circled to the right, you're on the far left. I don't even know anymore. Your government has gone so much into big government, I don't know where y'all are coming or going anymore.
That's why this bill is into the little government part, the state of Texas.
The local government, the money that we do not regulate. Members, we do not regulate city tax dollars in this building. I urge each and every one of you to vote no on this, including you Republicans in this room, because this has gone too far afield. And you have a chance, and I'm sure I'll lose this vote, you have a chance to say no here. You have a chance to say, this is just too much big government. And the local folks in San Antonio, they wanted to do a gun buyback. In Houston, and by the way, where you went to school in the Citadel, they have a local, in Charleston, South Carolina, they have a gun buyback program there too. Thank you, Mr. President.